This video is the final one in the Key West trip series, where we leave Key West at 7 in the morning and we go to Marco Island in Factory Bay and spend the night, and then we carry on the next day from Factory Bay up to Fort Myers. That was the plan anyway. Worked a little different. What really happened was we left at 7 a.m. Fuel tank was full-ish. We had added the 5-gallon can that we had on deck to the boat's tank and did not refill the 5-gallon jug, nor did we completely fill the boat. We could have had more diesel. So we left, and it wasn't very windy where we were. We got out into the channel. It was a little windier. Got a little farther down the Key West channel, and it was breezy. It was, 20, 25 maybe. And it was from the northeast, so it was on our starboard bow. That slowed us down, punching into the waves. They were 4 to 6 foot waves. And as the boat lost inertia, lost momentum from hitting a wave, the diesel would throttle up automatically and get back to the RPM that we had set.
I believe we're still south of Cape Sable, 50 feet of water. Taking the seas on the starboard bow. Not too bad of a ride. See, we're all harnessed up just in case. There's Larry steering away. We don't have any sails up because we got out of the channel before we took the sail cover off, and it was lumpier than we expected, and now we don't really want to go up to the mast. Sometimes it's enough of a bump that you might get, lifted off the deck. So we're going to do this for a while, hopefully get behind Cape Sable, and maybe the late waves won't have as much fetch. It'll still be a 50-mile fetch though, so pretty lumpy. So unbeknownst to us, we were burning a lot more fuel than if we had been in the intercoastal waterway or, flat water in general. We didn't have a sail up because we got out into the breezy, lumpy water before we expected it, and the decks got wet and the boat was pitching around, and at our advanced age, we didn't want to go on deck and try and take the sail cover off. We could have put the main up if we had the sail cover off, but we didn't even take the sail cover off. So, no big deal. We can just motor. It would be more comfortable if we had a sail up, but no big deal. Mary went down below. She said, "I smell an electrical smell." So I beat feet down below, and sure enough, sitting on the V-berth was Larry's iPad, which was charging because it had been used up and got hit by some salt water. The salt water shorted out the charger, which started a fire on my fluffy bed. I don't know how many seconds or minutes we were from having a big fire, but it was small enough, a couple inches in diameter, I could just blow it out. We get to Marco. We're in the Big Marco Pass, which runs west of Marco. And we're almost to Capri Pass, which is the one that goes up
around the island and gets us into Factory Bay. And all of a sudden, the channel that's supposed to be 7 feet deep is getting shallower and shallower. The depth sounder is saying 6, 5.5, 5, and it got into the 4s, and that was a little bit worrisome. The temptation to just keep going and get past the shallows and get into the Capri Channel was too great, and we ended up slowly running aground. And we couldn't back off, so we were stuck. So we called Boat US. Boat US came and towed us off. So we tried to start the motor. Didn't work, wouldn't start. So we just ran under bare poles, making 2 or 3 knots until we got to a spot we felt like anchoring for the night, and we put the anchor down and went to bed. Got up the next day, tried to debug the engine to figure out why it wasn't running. Strainer was clear, the impeller was fine. The only thing it could have been is we were out of diesel. So we called Boat US again, and he came out and towed us in to Factory Bay where we anchored, and went over and got 5 gallons of diesel. If you know anything about diesels, if you run out of fuel and they suck air in, you have to go through a whole procedure to de-air the diesel. So we called a diesel mechanic. The diesel mechanic was in the middle of a big job, couldn't get to us. Maybe I can get to you the next day. We ended up looking at YouTube, realizing that it really wasn't that complicated, and we got it running at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's music to our ears.
Got a slip for the night at the marina, took the boat over to the marina, filled up the diesel, pumped out the holding tanks, and then we went to bed. The next morning, May 10th, we got up early in the morning and motored out Capri Pass following the track that we recorded as we got towed in. And once we got out into the Gulf of Mexico, we put the mainsail up and we motor sailed up to Fort Myers, got in there 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon. I took all my stuff off the boat and went home.